and welcome into the second installment of On Deck with the Ketts. I'm Connor Schuh here with my play-by-play partner Chris Albright and our sideline reporter Brooke Killgore. And alongside us, our first guest, new Ketts skipper Loren Hibbs. Welcome to the show, Coach. We're glad to have you.
This is fantastic. I appreciate you guys doing this. I know we had a chance to talk a little bit before going in record mode and just really cool to get to learn about you all and your journey to this point. And it's going to be a fun summer in Katuitt.
It sure is. And before we start going a little back and forth, just why don't you give the fans a little bit of background about yourself?
I was born in Kansas, raised in Kansas, went to school and played at Wichita State University, played in the College World Series when I was a player in college, and played some professional baseball in the San Francisco Giants organization, and then got into this crazy coaching business about 40 years ago at Wichita State. Was fortunate and blessed to win a national championship there as an assistant in 1989, and that kind of catapulted my career to being a head coach in 1993 at Charlotte in North Carolina, and was there for 27 years as a head coach, and then moved back to Wichita for about a 4-year stint as an assistant athletic director, and ended up coaching on the very end of that. And then now we're living in Florida. So we've kind of bounced a little bit here the last few years, but really have enjoyed the journey to this point, enjoyed all the student athletes that we've been able to interact with and all the coaches and boosters and everything else. And excited to get up to it this summer. It's something that I really have always wanted to do, is to coach in the Cape, because it's the best summer league in the country. And I personally think that Katuitt is the best place to be in the Cape. And now to have the opportunity to be able to coach up there this summer it's a dream come true for me, and really looking forward to getting up there and meeting everybody in the community, meeting everybody in the village, and doing anything we can to provide a great experience for the players and fans and boosters and everybody else.
Heck of a career so far, and now going to the summer ball realm here. Brooke, you want to start us off with a question about the Cats?
I would love to, Coach. Love to see you decked out in your Katuitt Cavaliers gear already. Love to see the representation still out in April. Got a couple months away from the season, and I'm sure the fans would love to know what stood out to you the most about Katuitt and what really drew you to become that Cavalier.
Well, I think it starts with just having quality people. Everybody that I interacted with, with Fran, with Bruce, with Peter, with, kind of on the front end before going up to Katuitt for an interview. Everybody was just, it was straightforward. It was honest. I could just feel that there was, a good vibe in with the association. Um, and then we got a chance. My wife and I flew up to Katuitt for an interview. There was about 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground, so that was a little bit different than Florida, but it was just beautiful. And when I got a chance to meet the board members, and when you have 15 or so different people involved in running the organization, your first question is this going to work the right way? That's a lot of people, involved in making decisions. But, just having the ability to be able to talk face to face with Fran, and to be able to meet everybody and talk face to face, I just had a great feeling about it. It's just quality people from top to bottom. And the more we talk, the more we realize that kind of the values that I have and would bring to Katuitt aligned with what the values were of the association and kind of the values of the village. And it worked. So, when they offered me the opportunity, it was something that I felt like that I needed to do. And I'm excited. My wife's excited. My kids are excited because shoot, they can come and visit us up in the Cape and hang out and have a good family experience. So, just everybody working together, and the alignment really from the top, and my ability to be able to interact with the people in the association, I think just it drew me to saying yes when they made an offer for me to be the coach up there this summer.
Thank you, Coach. We really appreciate that answer. Chris, do you have a question?
Yeah, I know we've talked a lot about your collegiate career, coach, and it's been quite an impressive one just looking, at the numbers. And that's not all what a coach is. It's not fully just about the wins and the losses. It's a lot about the relationships you build with the players as well. And just being in collegiate baseball for so long, can you kind of tell about what's kept you there, especially in regards to the people that you've worked with, the players you've coached?
This may get long-winded now, so be patient with me here. I think I learned a long time ago, and I've got a really good friend, Jeff Jansen, who's one of the upper echelon people in the leadership field around with involved with college athletics, and I learned a lot from Jeff over the years. And one of the things that we try to do is kind of bring like core principles kind of to our organization. And I don't like to make it too long-winded and too wordy, but just to go over those real quick. Like the first thing that we talk about is just our players and everybody in the organization having, an elite level work ethic. I don't think that you can accomplish anything in life, no matter what field that you're in, without having an elite level work ethic. And we tell our guys, come ready to work. And this is just a given that we have to have. It's a non-negotiable. Then the second thing that we talk about with our players is just to be coachable. Let's exchange information. It's way different now than what it was when I first started coaching. Like when I first started coaching many years ago, like if you told a kid to do something, like they would say yes sir and they would do it. Like no questions asked. Those days are over. Like that's not going to happen. And I honestly welcome the fact that they want to have interaction. They want to be told why nowadays. That leads to I think positive interaction, and it helps kind of learn more about the players. And that's been good. A lot of guys that are my age or a little bit older, they don't want that. They just want it back the way it was, 30, 40 years ago. But I'm a little bit different from that standpoint. I really enjoy, that interaction. Just we tell our guys to be coachable. The third thing is to be a great teammate. And I think if you watch and if you pay attention, not only to baseball at the highest levels, but if you pay attention to other sports, you can tell the teams that are really, really good, they have a lot of guys that are great teammates. And that's sometimes being a great teammate is maybe getting on a guy like, hey, come on, let's go. You need to pick it up a little bit. Sometimes it's, pulling them off the side and talking to them maybe one on one. Sometimes it's speaking up in a team meeting saying, hey, we need to stop what we're doing. We need to get back on track. So we really had a great culture in Charlotte all those years where we had our older guys would take a lead role even in the fall practice where they helped teach and help coach the younger players. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about that, but that's a really cool dynamic when you have that. So being a great teammate is really important. The fourth thing is just communicate. You know, let's talk to each other. Let's tell me what you're feeling with your swing. Tell me what you're feeling when you come to the balance point when you're pitching. Tell me what you feel when you're feeling a ground ball that's maybe a charge play and you have to one hand it. Let's have a communication. Let's open those doors. And nowadays, as you all know, because you've grown up in an environment, these kids nowadays, there's so much data and information out there that I mean, it can get like way over your head sometimes. And the game's really hard. I mean, if you talk to major league players and major league coaches, the game is really, really hard. It gets really fast. So whatever we can do to communicate and keep those lines of communication open, I think that really helps with building a positive team culture and helping guys reach their maximum potential. And then the last thing, and you all will find this out when we get up there. And Brooke, I'm gonna be nice to you when we're on the sidelines. You need to talk to me. I'll be good. So I'll be professional. But I just love to compete. I mean, you've got to compete. And the guys that are coming into play this summer, they all have aspirations of playing in the major leagues, every single one of them. And a lot of them probably are going to. And I think what they'll find and what we'll hopefully be able to teach them over the course of the summer, in addition to what their college programs have taught them, is at the end of the day, a lot of guys have talent. And they're going to find out, when they get to that double A, maybe triple A level, like everybody's got about the same amount of talent, you know. Outside of a few, there's a few Otanis and there's a few, guys that are just elite. But it really gets down to how well and how consistently you can compete. So just kind of sandwiching those things. If you have a really good positive work ethic and elite work ethic on the front end and on the back end, if you really compete every single day and then do those things in between, kids are going to maximize their potential. They're going to maximize what they've been blessed with, and they're going to give themselves the best chance to play for as long as possible. So just keeping those things simple, keeping those in front of them all the time. There's a lot of different examples that we'll use this summer. Um, and I think the college players, I'm getting to your question now, but the college players nowadays, um, again, I just coached a couple years ago, and they all want to do well. Like I'm not somebody that thinks that y'all's generation is like dramatically different than like my generation was. There's really not that many differences, I don't think. Now y'all have a lot more distractions, and our players have a lot more distractions. You got this thing all the time. That's right there all the time. You got social media. And I don't say those as being. This is not a distraction. Social media is not a distraction unless you allow it to be, if that makes sense. And I welcome that. I think it's great for our kids to be on X and be on, all these different platforms. It's great for them. It helps them, advance their careers and helps them, market themselves and all those things are great. So, just trying to manage all that and trying to make them understand that they've got to do everything they can to kind of cut out some of the noise and just be the best version of themselves every single day. Because, you know, just like you guys going up to Katuitt this summer, this is an internship. This is something for you guys to help build your careers professionally. It's the same with our players. Like it's an internship for them. Like they have an opportunity every day to make that internship positive. The other thing that they have, just like you guys on game days, it's an audition. It's a tryout basically for them. And there's going to be all kinds of scouts around. There's going to be all kinds of media around. We're going to do our best job that we can with our experience to help them bridge that gap between kind of what their amateur life is in college to what their professional life is going to be once they sign that pro contract. And this summer is going to be a great opportunity for them to do that. And you guys are going to be a big part of that. Our coaches are going to be a big part of it. So we're really looking forward to just the process of educating people. When I was 19, 20 years old, 21 years old, I had people that mentored me. Some of the greatest coaches when I first got into coaching that have ever coached, just they took time with me. Skip Bertman took time with me. Ron Polk took time with me. Kerry Ward took time with me. Itchy Jones took time with me. I mean, these guys were great coaches, and they all took time with me when I was a young coach coming up. And that's what I want to do. And that's what our staff's going to do this summer with you all to help you all, and then with our players. And I promise you, having a 25-year-old daughter, I promise you, you guys will help me just as much as I'm helping anybody else. I believe me, it's a two-way street. So we're really excited about that. And I loved coaching in college for all those years, and this is just an extension of it and a way to help guys hopefully fulfill their dream of playing in the major leagues at some point in time.
And coach, you got into some of your mentors in your career a little bit. Who were some people that really kind of instilled that belief in you that you could become a coach, a manager, and do it at a really high level?
Great question. I wanted to play. So there's a lot of days I still feel like and still think as a player, you know. Um, the reality is I just wasn't good enough to play in the big leagues. And I have no problem saying that. I did everything I could to get to the level that I felt like I could play in the major leagues, and I wasn't good enough. So deciding to coach was something that was just kind of in me, in terms of just my upbringing. I always tried to be a good teammate. I think it comes from my dad. It comes from other coaches that I had growing up in that small community in Wellington, Kansas, because we played everything. We played basketball, we played football, we played baseball in the summertime, and just those experiences with people that helped mentor me when I was growing up. And then, Coach Stevenson offered me an opportunity there at Wichita State, and I kind of got the bug of doing it. And then we had unbelievable success. We went to Omaha 4 times in the last 5 years. I was there as an assistant coach, and once that gets in your system, and when you win at a really high level and have players that go on and play at a high level and play in the major leagues, it's just kind of part of what you become. So, and I've been blessed too because I've got an unbelievable wife. You'll meet her this summer. We'll be married 30 years, I guess. I stop and think 30 years in August. So that's cool. Um, she's like the best coach's wife ever. It's been kind of a unified effort. It's been a lifestyle for us and our family for all these years. And again, this is just going to be an extension of it this summer. So we're really excited.
That's great. Coach, we want to talk a little bit about some of the rivalries that Katuitt has with some of the neighboring teams. Is there a series this summer that you're most looking forward to?
The first one, first game. We've had players, like I said, we've had players play all over the Cape. Uh, I've been told of the support that the village has. The Katuitt people support the team incredibly well. I don't really know. Y'all are gonna have to help me with that because I don't. What is the biggest rival? Like, what do I need to be heads up for?
Those Harbor Hawks, the
Really?
Hyannis Harbor Hawks. I think as of recent, it's, Bourne has been competing in the postseason against the Ketts.
Well, the Cats have won more championships than any other team.
That's right.
So we need to try to win another one. That'd be fantastic. If we do, we'll remind everybody that we're still on the top of the mountain. So, in college when I was at Wichita State, it was Oklahoma State, it was Arkansas. When I moved to Charlotte, it was East Carolina, it was NC State, South Carolina was really good, and we competed at a high level with all those. Tulane was in our league; they were really good. Southern Miss. I mean, I can just keep going on and on and on, but I think it's going to be fun. I know several of the coaches up there, managers in the league, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. I really like the fact that we don't have to drive like 3 or 4 hours on a bus. Everything's about 45 minutes with Katuitt kind of being right in the middle, and just looking forward to it.
Yeah, kind of wanting to bounce back on that coaching career. You mentioned all those great opponents, all those great memories. You did win a national championship when you were with Wichita State. And I know those memories stand out. All the wins stand out, and you do have plenty of those. Is there a favorite memory you have? Maybe not a win, maybe not a national championship. I know those are at the top of the list, but a favorite memory that maybe happened behind the scenes that really just stood out to you throughout your coaching experience.
Wow. It's always whether it was in Wichita the first time, or whether it was in Charlotte for all those years, or whether it was in Wichita the second time. The as a player, the relationships that I had with teammates. I just talked to a former teammate this morning, Phil Stevenson, who was a teammate of mine, who played in the big leagues with the Padres and Cubs. Charlie O'Brien, Jimmy, I mean, all these guys that played in the major leagues. So still am tight and stay in touch with those guys. So that's really would be kind of one. And then 1A would be just the relationships with the players. I mean, this is going to sound really corny. I mean, it's great to win games, and all those things are awesome. And I don't want to devalue all that. Obviously, the top moment is winning a national championship and celebrating on the field in the Rosenblatt Stadium before they, moved to TD Ameritrade. But that professionally was the top. But just having former players, text me pictures of their kids, invite Lisa and I to their weddings. Call me when they're in Florida and we go grab lunch, or just stuff like that. That's really neat. Um, and I really have always been more of a transformational type coach. there's so much transactional stuff that's going on now with NIL and all those things. And a lot of it's good, but I've always kind of approached it more from a transformational deal. And I've learned just as much from our players as I think that they've learned from me, just as life goes on. And it's really neat, that 15, 20, 30, 35 years later, they reach out and say, "Hey, coach, how you doing? I got a really cool story. We live in Gainesville, Florida, and the starting shortstop at the University of Florida is Colby Shelton. Really good player, really good player." And so I've known Colby since he was born because his dad, Eric, played for us at Charlotte. His mom, Bonnie, was on the softball team at Charlotte. So obviously they got married, and their oldest child is now the starting shortstop at the University of Florida. So I usually meet with Colby every Monday. We go over to Starbucks and we have a cup of coffee because it's kind of their slower day of the week, and we just talk about life. And those are really cool things that that you can't put a price tag on that. You can't do anything other than say it really creates a lot of value. And just with life, it's just really, really neat to have those relationships.
And you mentioned being a transformational coach in there, which I really liked. And that brings me to this. How nice is it seeing a guy you coach go to the major leagues?
Well, the last one was Josh Maciejewski this summer. He pitched for us at Charlotte. And I'll give you another long story on Josh. His junior year, we're in the conference tournament down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we're using him in the relief role, back in relief role, and he was awesome all year. And we're playing Southern Miss in the second round game. Now we beat Southern. We won the first round. We beat Southern Miss in the second round. So Southern Miss had to come back and beat us twice to get to the championship game. And we get a lead, and it's late in the game. We bring Josh in from the bullpen, and he gives up a 3-run home. We end up losing. Just made a pitch, and they got it up in the wind, and it ended up being a home run. So we had to turn around and play the next day. We get in the same situation, got a lead late in the game. We're going to him again. And I'm getting a little mad talking about this because we actually had a better team. Same thing happens. This time a change up, and the guy gets it up in the wind. And we ended up losing twice when I felt like we had the better team. And then Southern Miss went on and won a championship the next day. So he's with the Yankees, kind of grinding through with them, double A, triple A, bouncing back and forth. And shoot, he calls me driving on his way to Yankee Stadium this summer. Coach, I just want to let you know, obviously I picked up because I didn't know what was going on. And he said, I just want to let you know they've added me to the roster and I'm driving to Yankee Stadium. I mean, and that is so cool. I mean, that is because he had to grind. Like things didn't go well for him as a junior. He didn't get drafted like he wanted to. He comes back as a senior, ends up being an all conference player, ends up being a 10th round pick. He made some adjustments and just I speak about him, but he just really had to mature a little bit more and for him to get in the big leagues and make it to the big leagues is really that was a really cool experience. There's been a lot of other ones in between. So just proud of all of them and proud of the fact that they played at the absolute highest level that they could.
Well, Coach, we really, really appreciate your time talking with us. We had a lot of fun, and we really hope you did too.
A lot of fun, and I will do this as many times as y'all want me to do it. I enjoy talking with you guys. I look forward to spending the summer up there with you all, and go Cats. I know we've got 5 meet and greets they've got scheduled with myself and with our coaching staff. Before the season starts. I think it's June the 14th. So I would encourage people to kind of put those on your calendar. I don't have the exact dates yet. I know Bruce and Fran were going to get back with me on that, but we encourage people to come out. That gives us a chance to interact with myself and our coaching staff, and just looking forward to becoming a part of the village this summer.
Well, hey, thank you again. And don't forget, fans, mark your calendars. And this has been the second installment of On Deck with the Ketts with new skipper Loren Hibbs. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and good night.